Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Dark Powerrr, where we talk about AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, and NWA Powerrr. We got a good episode when it comes to NWA Powerrr this week. We got to get to it, guys. So, once again, remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. It allows us to do all the things that we enjoy doing for you guys, and that's why we're all here. So let's get started with it, guys. AEW Elevation, Monday nights, you know what it is. Pretty good. Some things that stood out was the Private Party, Dean Alexander, Carly Bravo match. That was good. I like that we are, getting some kind of development, I guess, for Private Party, at least when it comes to the outfits. Like we're getting that. It's not a lot. If there was a team that I think AEW has dropped the ball on the most, it would probably be Private Party. Them, LAX. But LAX is part of Inner Circle, have done very well. So probably Private Party and TH2. Those are the two teams I think that AEW needs to improve on when it comes to the remainder of 2021, because they have not had that great of a run thus far in AEW itself. But hopefully they'll be able to turn the corner down the road. I liked the Julia Hart versus Danny Jordan match. This was a really good one. I thought that Danny Jordan was kind of the standout here as opposed to Julia Hart from a booking perspective, from a behind-the-scenes perspective. You really saw Danny Jordan kind of lead the match. Normally heels do lead the matches if you're calling the match on the fly, but it's always a good sign when the heel is able to do it, when they're able to step up and carry the match in that sense of guiding the face through the different spots. And this was, I think, the first real time that we saw that with Danny Jordan, and I liked it. I want to see more of it. I was trying to figure out why Julia Hart won the match, and then later, I think it might have been while I was watching Dark, I saw the graphic for Julia Hart versus Penelope Ford, and then it all clicked. It all made sense. I liked the QT Marshall and Aaron Solo tag match. That was good, keeping momentum behind the Factory as they continue to feud with the Nightmare Family. Good stuff there. And the Scorpio Sky, Alex Reynolds main event. That one was a really good match from Elevation, but we kind of already know that. When we know what we're going to get with Reynolds and with Scorpio Sky, it was the kind of match that these two guys should have. Speaking of should have, there is a level of athleticism that Dante Martin has and that Sonny Kiss has. And when you put that together, it is really, really incredible. And that's what we got in our first opening match on Dark. Actually, it might have not been the opening match, but it was the first match that jumped out to me. So that's why it's first on my rundown sheet. But this was a good match. I liked it a lot, and it's going to continue a lot of the Sonny Kiss, Joey Janela stuff, and that's what I think is super important for Dark and for Elevation. So good to see that there. I liked the Dark Order tag match with Shane Mercer and KTB. A lot of it was that, I think what stood out to me a lot was that Dark Order really took the time to make Shane Mercer and KTB look good during this match. And I think a lot of that is because of what Dark Order was about a year ago, The Dark Order has had some ups, they've had some downs, then they had some ups again when Brody Lee took over, and I think that because of that journey for them as a group has helped them to really realize what they were, what they are, what they could be, and how they can help people who are where they were. And that's something that we saw during this match with Mercer and KTB. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson really doing a good job in helping to get them over in the loss, which is tough to do. It's very tough to do. I know that in WWE, they'll just write it off with Michael Cole saying, takes nothing away from him in the loss, or he looks really strong, like all that kind of nonsense. And while it can happen, it's actually difficult for it to actually happen. So when it does happen, we want to highlight that. We want to focus that. I liked the Kazarian-Jake Tucker match, mainly because I liked the Kazarian storyline. I do enjoy the Elite Hunter storyline as it's slowly coming on, but I think they need to try to ramp it up a little bit. Kaz needs to be doing more than just, running off the interference. He needs to actually be attacking elite people. I think it would have been kind of cool if in this match Brandon Cutler had come out and tried to do something, or Nakazawa had come out and tried to do something, just to show that Kazarian is on the Elite's radar. Because right now what's happening is the Elite will attempt to interfere or cheat in a match. Kazarian may or may not come out and run off the interference or get involved. But to the Elite, Kazarian doesn't seem like they don't. It's coming across as though they don't view him as a threat, and they need to view him as a threat in order for Kazarian to get over as the face and for the storyline to work. So I think that there needs to be some work done there. I think it would have been better or easier to do this if the secondary title, if the mid-card title, was with the Elite as well. Because while Kazarian is not somebody who we would necessarily find credible to feud with Kenny right now, he would be somebody who is credible to feud with a mid-card champion if the Elite had a mid-card title. So that, I think, is where the storyline kind of lacks. So I really wish that they would kind of pick it up and move things along so that he's actually viewed as a threat and not just like, oh, we're coming out to hit somebody and then Kazarian shows up and attacks us. But yeah, speaking of storylines that have been slow burning but are starting to get better, we can look at this Joey Janela Sonny Kiss story. So here we have Janela doing another interview with Alex. Sonny shows up and is like, why are you, I don't know what's going on with you, but this is a problem and it's starting to be detrimental to me. We got to figure this shit out. And Janela just blames Alex instead of taking ownership for his mistakes and for his fault. I have a feeling this is going to boil over very, very quickly and sometime in the summer, especially maybe there's an opportunity to do this during one of the name brand shows of Dynamite when they go back to being on Wednesdays, whether it's the 2-week Fighter Fest, whether it's Fight for the Fallen, whether it's Road Rager, whatever the case may be. I think there's an opportunity that they have there if they properly develop this throughout the remainder of the time that Dynamite is on Fridays, and then they do the Janela turn on Sonny Kiss. Finally, I liked the Ty Conti Willow Nightingale match. This one was a nice one. They are continuing to build Ty Conti up for bigger and better things. She's got her sights set on Britt, man. When Britt gets past Nyla, Ty's going to be right there. And Ty's somebody who feels like a natural person for Britt to feud with. This is only a theory right now, but maybe it's just me fantasy booking. But I would love it if Ty is the one to take the title from Britt as a face, and then a returning Anna Jay as a heel is the first real feud for Ty to sink her teeth into as the face champion. I mean, I know that Anna is recovering. I don't know exactly what her timeline is, and so keeping her off television may not make sense depending on how long they want Britt's reign to be. But either way, I think that it has some great possibilities. Granted, they could just do the, Anna comes back, part of the Dark Order, we're all friends, everybody's happy, cool. That's a great idea as well. But I'd like to see something kind of interesting when it comes to her return, simply because it seems as though Ty has, but has not, at the same time, in a way, usurped her position within the Dark Order. But guys, let's talk about this week's episode of NWA Powerrr. It was actually a pretty good episode, and I gotta listen. I can only say that because Trevor Murdoch really is starting to grow on me as a face. The show starts off with a really strong Trevor Murdoch babyface promo. He is saying that everybody's gonna know that I beat you. I went home, my wife kind of set me straight, and now I know when you go to your tailor, Nick Aldis, your tailor knows I beat you. When you go to your barber's going to know I beat you. When you go to your friends, they're going to know I beat you. When you go to your wife, and we know who that is, she's going to know I beat you. And if you thought this was over, we're just getting started. And it's really good promo. I liked it. It's helping me to kind of believe in Trevor Murdoch, and it also confirms my original thought that Trevor Murdoch is going to get at least one more shot at the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, maybe on an episode of Powerrr. before all this transitions to somebody else for the 73rd anniversary show. Tyrus Idol interview, the interview's whatever, but I think it was Jordan Clearwater. I really think it was Jordan Clearwater. Comes up and says that Mr. G's would like to speak to Tyrus. Tyrus is not interested. The guy doesn't leave, so Tyrus has put a little chokehold on him and says, look, I'll talk to the guy when I want to talk to the guy, which means we're going to be talking in the ring next week. Can I finish my interview? They have a triple threat here. That this is a story of triple threats, this show. There is a triple threat with Melina, Kenzie Page, Genocide. Nothing too crazy to write home about here. Melina gets the win with a roll-up. This match was really kind of more about the Melina Genocide aspect, and Kenzie Page was in there to kind of just be a person for them to play off of while they worked on the Melina Genocide story. So nothing bad there when it comes to the idea. It's a great staple of booking to have a triple threat where two people in there have an issue with each other and the third person is just there to help maneuver and kind of act as a glue or a water or some kind of grease that just keeps the joints moving, keeps the different parts of the match working properly. So good choices there. Camille has an interview. She runs down Melina for getting involved last week during the coronation. Kind of see where that's going. And May Valentine asks her who she thinks her next opponent will be for the title. And Camille says she's looking elsewhere. Hopefully that is real. And hopefully Camille is interested in going after somebody in AEW. I would love to see the NWA title on AEW television again, particularly because this means Camille will be on an AEW television. Even if it's just Elevation, I'll be happy with it on Elevation. Love for it to be on Dynamite, though. Next, this is kind of the dull, weird moment. We have PJ Hawks with Saul Renaro. They're going to have a match to determine who is the number one contender to Pope's TV title. Out of nowhere, Colby Corino shows up. This part's fine. They're talking about how PJ Hawks is a second generation, blah, blah, blah. You know, these opportunities don't come all the time. Colby Corino shows up, says he's a second generation too, and he's ashamed that Saul Renaro gets opportunities when he should be getting these opportunities. Saul Renaro rightly, correctly, and actually hilariously points out that we don't make the matches. Why are you angry at me? Be angry at Billy. And Colby doesn't want to accept that. Colby was kind of stumbling over his words at some point and didn't know kind of when he was supposed to stop talking or let like a point hang. But that's, you know, I don't know how long it's been since he's been on TV. So promos can be a little... People get rusty at things. And I don't know how great he was of a promo before. So take from that what you will. But either way, it looks as though Colby Corino is in the NWA, which that part is a good thing because they need people. They need people desperately in the NWA, even if it's just bodies, even if it's just PJ Hawks and Luke Hawks, who've never been anything special, but are people. That's what they need. There's no harm with having Jags, just the guys. There's no harm with having it. Every roster needs it. Every roster has to have it. Now, because of this promo or exchange, this is where it gets weird. They transition immediately into a PJ Hawks Aaron Stevens match. So this is why there's a little bit of a disconnect. So PJ Hawks during the interview segment offered to turn the match with Saul Renaro into a triple threat, so that Colby could be in the match and could potentially face Pope should he win. They point out that Hawks can't make matches. And Renaro also points that out, that they don't make matches. Immediately afterwards, they transition to a PJ Hawks match with Aaron Stevens, and the rationale behind this, I think it's Galley who says this, is that Aaron Stevens was watching this exchange, was inspired, and wanted to give PJ Hawks a platform and an opportunity. That's fine, but Billy Corgan has to approve the match. if Billy Corgan can just approve a match like that, then we should definitely get Colby Corino automatically being able to be added. There shouldn't even be a question of whether or not Billy's going to do it or not, because apparently if a wrestler says they want a match, they can get it. Maybe, maybe not. Because it's not really a logic point of why does Saul Renaro and PJ Hawks deserve to have a TV title contendership match. They haven't done anything to deserve the match. So if they're just getting the match just because, then Colby Corino should be able to just be added by PJ Hawks saying, you're added, because neither of them did anything to get the match in the first place. But anyway, match is going pretty well until there's disqualification, the Rebellion attack. Luke Hawx comes in to try to make the save for his son, as he should, as what's her name? Velvet Sky points out. And then immediately after they continue to beat up the father now, they are going to do an interview. And they do the interview in Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't speak a lot of Spanish, so it was tough for me to understand what exactly they were saying. But I'm pretty sure the gist of it is, we're here, we're going to take over, and we want those tag titles, and we don't give a crap what we have to do to get them. Perfectly fair, perfectly fine, perfectly understandable. Especially when you think about it, they're targeting one half of the tag team champions. So a great way to transition from The End and Rebellion to Rebellion, and they don't have a name, so Stevens and Kratos. Next, we have the Masked Man going to do an interview. May Valentine's trying to figure out again who this person is, when he's going to get in the ring. The guy says that's whenever the NWA tells him to get into the ring. Immediately interrupted by Slice Boogie, Marsh Rocket. Marsh Rocket and Slice are kind of being like, who the hell is this guy? Slice is going back to the flirting with my thing and asking, is this the kind of guy that you like? I'm done like trying to even get with you because this is ridiculous. This guy looks like a complete tool, whatever. And then, I don't know, like it... With the Masked Man thing, it worked. So the segment worked in deflecting away from us and not getting more information away from the Masked Man, because we're like, well, Slice Boogie and Marsh Rocket interrupted him. At the same time, they got to drop a little bit more of a hint. The guy said like one sentence. That was it. There's got to be enough to fuel that interest. And while I'm interested in knowing who is underneath the mask, it's more out of just mild curiosity as opposed to this person's going to make an impact. I need to know who this person is. Are they a good wrestler, etc., etc. They need to give a date also, I think, for the first match, because otherwise it's just a guy repeating over and over again that the only person who knows who he is William Patrick Corgan, and when he gets in the ring, it's going to be determined by the NWA. And apparently, people can just make matches, so anybody should be able to just get this masked dude in the ring last week. We have a conversation between Latimer Adonis and The End, particularly Mike Parrow of The End. This was actually a really good exchange. I liked this one. This was a really good conversation. So they're talking about how they have a triple threat for the number one to move forward in the national title tournament, so to speak. We'll call it a tournament. And Parrow is basically saying, I'm going to beat the crap out of both of you. I don't give a shit. Taking both of y'all down. Adonis does his, I'm still the champion because I never actually lost it. I willingly vacated it. And Latimer says, either way, it's staying in the hands of Strictly Business. And Parrow points out, I know you guys don't like me. I know you don't care about me. But I'm going to beat the respect into you. Strong promo. But what I think is kind of interesting is that Latimer rightly points out that as long as one of them wins, the title has the best opportunity to stay in Strictly Business. And so he even suggests that he will lay down so that Adonis can just pin him, which I think is a really smart way of pointing out the flaws of having both members of Strictly Business in the match, which stacks the deck against the face. And by pointing out those flaws, not flaws in the sense of the decision, flaws in the sense of character Billy Corgan's decision making, we now are more interested in Parrow winning, which means that our main event is that much more important to see who he will be facing if he were to win. And that's where we turn to our main event, which is a really good match. It's JTG versus Fred Rosser versus El Rudo Sam Adonis, who I thought was Sam Adonis this whole time, and then I looked it up, and I was like, that is Sam Adonis, and I realized why they changed the name, because they have Chris Adonis, so you don't want to confuse people, and honestly, that was really smart. El Rudo is kind of a weird name. I mean, I know the Lucha Libre connection, but it's kind of a weird name. I think they could have gone with something else, but either way, works. Because Sam Adonis is a heel, like his actual Sam Adonis, good heel. So anyway, this match. Good match, liked it. It was basically picking up a lot of where JTG and Rosser left off during the pay-per-view, the When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view, in just like the previous match, the previous triple threat. Rudo is there kind of as the grease, who's going to keep the joints of the match working. Now, what's more interesting here, or the differences here, is that there's no actual heat between Rosser and JTG. There was heat between Molina and Genocide, but here it's not really heat, it's more just respect. These two guys, while you may consider them rivals with each other, there's no actual hatred nor heat towards either person. So there is a level of showmanship, but just to be the best, not to shine at somebody else's expense. JTG is going to pick up the win over Rudo, protecting Rosser in the finish. Smart move there. And then JTG cuts a really good promo with this Killmonger character that he is kind of portraying. Really well done. And I think because JTG won the match, I think that points to either Adonis or Latimer winning the match. NWA does like to do heel versus face. They do like to do those kinds of matches for their singles matches, unless there's some kind of issue with how that triple threat works out between Powerrr, Adonis, and Latimer. But I'm not even sure how exactly that would work, because it's a triple threat, so there are no rules. But either way, guys, when they do make that determination, we will be with you. We will be with you every single step of the way, as we always are here on True Heels, and as we are here for you on Dark Powerrr. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I thought this was a really good trio of shows. If there's one match or two matches that you really want to check out, I would suggest the Scorpio Reynolds match and the Dante Martin Sonny Kiss match, with like an honorable mention to the Dark Order Shane Mercer KTB match. But you can't go wrong with JTG Rosser Rudo. That was a good one as well. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll catch you later.